From the great 1980s Dungeons and Dragons panic that supposedly caused hostile, violent behavior in people, to Doom, where they believed that the game influenced the shooters in Colorado because they had it downloaded on their PCs, to Mortal Kombat, which was a named game when they created the ESRB. It is a very old and tired argument, but it has been one that has been talked about since the inception of video games, and we are seeing that being brought up again. Fox News, others in the media, and politicians are already blaming video games like Fortnite for the awful multiple mass shootings here in America that have occurred recently. They've said things like along the lines of, these shooters probably logged 6 to 8 hours into these games where you are just dehumanizing people by blowing their heads off. And they also go on to point out the shooter's age at 21. And why is it that we hear about shooters playing video games? For one, it's because they fall under the largest demographic for games. In this case, he was a 21-year-old male. It is also one of the largest and fastest growing markets and pastimes in the world. There are over 2 billion people that play video games worldwide. Almost a third of people play video games. And over 60% of Americans play video games on a daily basis. So it is more than likely that a large majority of people who commit many different crimes are all playing video games. It does not necessarily point to one specific type of crime. We also have to look at their mental health. So many public figures say things very regularly that have fed into the psychosis of these shooters and their hatred. It is time to start looking at the sociological and psychological issues that are actually behind these events. We are going through another horrible tragedy, and the only thing that I hear is someone blaming a game like Fortnite, a fictional game with fictional weapons in a world that, yes, might on the surface seem to resemble a world of realism because the characters are human. But if you look at the types of weapons that they have and the type of special items they have in the game, they are nothing similar to our world. People are blindly blaming the wrong things. If video games are desensitizing us, why did not movies do that 30 years ago? Why are they not pushing the narrative that movies are causing these problems as well? It's very simple. It's because those types of people like movies. They understand movies, and they do not understand video games. They are blaming what they have very little information on, and they also do not see the point of video games. They do not understand why people like you and I see games as a form of escapism. Can we look at how many people play video games like Fortnite more often than this person did? Look at some of the top content creators that play Fortnite and that have played it since the day it was released. They do not seem to be visually violent or spreading discussions of hate and violence. Another question to raise is, why are these shootings so heavily happening in the United States if they are caused by this massive game? People all around the world play this game. Look at Japan, where a lot of these larger video games are developed. In a country of over 127 million people, yearly average is less than 20 shooting crimes and less than 10 gun-related deaths. Video games causing violence is unsubstantiated, and maybe the people that are discussing the topic should research it instead of just trying to blindly blame it. With how hot of a discussion this has been over the years, you would expect more people to be more aware of it. More parents should be aware of the truth and should not listen to people that have no idea of what they are talking about. They should be doing their own research on the topic. As far as children getting their hands on video games, this was mainly solved with the creation of the ESRB. Children cannot walk into a store and purchase an M-rated game without a parent. If a child that should not be playing an M-rated game gets their hands on it, then it is the fault of the parents and not the game itself, and we should be looking at that as well. This is a very in-depth topic, and I will do another video discussing this further, but I felt as though it was very important to discuss now, as this argument has been used decade after decade, and no matter how many times people will make this claim, it does not make it any more factual than it was before. This is a very saddening topic, and it is very hard to discuss. And this is the time for us to come together and to find real solutions and to find real answers instead of making weak claims that are not supported through research. The reason why I felt it was so imperative to talk about things like this so soon, even in the wake of such tragedies, is because the knee-jerk reactions, such as blaming video games, do nothing to help us find an actual solution and only end up causing us more problems down the line. But I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to give it a like and share it, and if you did not, please make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you guys again really soon.